Welcome everyone back to Spoiler Warning, featuring myself, Tom Colohue. We are, of course, covering wrestling news today. And I have to start with the negative, which is a rarity here, or at least I hope it's a rarity, because it's not something I really enjoy doing. I am aware and have been sent many messages covering a few whiny little on the social media. Now, I'm not really on X anymore because, well, everyone's a child there. And there's some more children complaining that I report things. It's all very sad. Just to be clear to everyone who does let me know on this, let them. Let them. I've been warned there may be some trolls in here to pick apart whatever arguments I make. Let them. Let them. It just boosts the chat rate and helps the show continue to thrive. In fact, they'll see an ad to be here, so they'll give me money by popping into troll and whine. So, yeah. For anyone who is sending me messages saying, oh, this person's saying this person's saying this, I'm not reading it. I'm not reading any of it. I'm ignoring all of it. It would mean going back onto X, which I have no intention of doing. So I'm going to focus on, living my best life. And that seems to make some people very upset, which is good news. And I'm very happy to know it. Very happy to know it. Our headlines today, for those who are actually interested in news, on both YouTube and TikTok, where we are currently live, we will be talking about The Rock and Drew McIntyre making a deal that involves Hollywood. We're also going to discuss Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss and Seth Rollins as regards that as well. We're going to talk Sadiq Khan, who is talking about WWE bringing more WWE to London and the UK, particularly WrestleMania. We're going to talk about a paywalled PWInsider report confirming what I've already reported, but behind paywall. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about where we are going to be seeing Liv Morgan in the whole future, John Cena's Greatest Hits tour, and then we are going to talk about WWE releases. This is not the same as WWE releasing wrestlers. So far, there is no indication that that is going to be the case. However, I did report recently that there was a cost-benefit analysis report built up. For those who are not aware of what this means, the cost-benefit analysis is something that the financial team under Nick Khan make up every now and then to essentially tell WWE management, these are the people giving us the least bang for the buck. What I essentially reported at that time was that the WWE were looking at who they could release because they were giving the least benefit. I have more information as to what happened there because you've seen so many people now report on it and yet for some reason not recognize that, as always, someone else mentioned it first. We already have the chat rate racing on the YouTube side. I've already got people coming in on the TikTok side as well. 29 likes, one more gets us up to 30 on YouTube. We're already above 300 on TikTok. So we're going to get to our first piece of news. And in fact, we already have our first troll. So everyone remember, say hi to the troll and then say bye to the troll, because God bless them, they come here, they look at the ads, they give me money, and then eventually they realize that they are wasting their entire life. The Rock and Drew McIntyre made a deal almost a year, in fact over I should say, a year ago, which resulted in greater opportunities in Hollywood and beyond. For Drew McIntyre. This is one of the reasons that when Drew McIntyre's new contract was announced last year, it was The Rock who announced it. The idea was that The Rock would get more eyes on Drew McIntyre, help to build him as a wrestling name, and help to build him beyond wrestling, resulting in film opportunities, TV opportunities, and the like. This is starting to pay off now for Drew McIntyre. The Rock is said to firmly believe that Drew McIntyre can take the next step, similarly to how The Rock did in his career, and enter the wrestling world, particularly with some of the promos that he has been cutting, and The Rock has made sure he is directly involved in some of the creative for Drew McIntyre ever since, particularly a feud with CM Punk, which The Rock used as an opportunity to show Drew McIntyre's talent to the wider than wrestling world. It is not just Drew McIntyre that The Rock is looking to work with in this capacity. Other names have been mentioned, and some of them we're seeing the results from already. Liv Morgan has a pretty big opportunity coming up, which we will detail more on later. Alexa Bliss's name has been mentioned a number of times, and Seth Rollins' name has also come up, particularly after, unfortunately, he was cut from a Captain America movie. He was involved, but was not able to necessarily be involved enough. So, that is our top story on The Rock and Drew McIntyre. Plenty more that we're going to share. I can see plenty of chat rate in the chat. Thank you everyone for that. Our chat rate has actually just reached 20. We're almost at 100 views already, so keep that going. Everton is saying Crown Jewel has been confirmed for Perth. Any truth to reports about Tama Tonga being injured? Can't confirm at this point. Unfortunately, I don't have the news there. SNH is asking when Tonga Loa is going to return. Wouldn't that be a crazy world? Thank you very much, McCade, for the heart. Appreciate you for that. Every donation does go straight back into the coffers and continues to support the channels. So thank you kindly for that. I can also see that we've had a renewed membership. Thank you very much, Era of Penta, a channel supporter, just joining us now. Thank you very kindly, Era of Penta. I appreciate you for it. Let's catch up on the chat before we get to our next piece of news. We've just hit 100 views in the YouTube side. Always fantastic news. Ooh, which reminds me, I have one of these flare things that I can use on the TikTok side, which apparently lasts for about 40 minutes. And just brings in more viewers. So let's see how that works. We're talking wrestling. We're answering your chats. We are giving you everything we possibly can. And we've just had a donation from Corey, a $10 donation. Very generous. Thank you very much. Corey says, hey, Tom, any updates on AJ's contract? The WWE continue to make positive noises. However, overall, the WWE have not been able to confirm the future of AJ Styles in the WWE. His contract does run for another few months. A little bit of time has been added for injury, so I think it'll be, unfortunately, a while before he has to press the button and say yes or no. He, at this point, has not confirmed to WWE. Liam says, hello, Tom. With WWE going to Perth for Crown Jewel, I'm guessing WWE is still sticking to champion versus champion. Pardon me. If so, there could be a chance we could get Jey Uso versus John Cena and Tiffany versus Io. They've only done it once so far, since, of course, cancelling it in Survivor Series, so I can't say for certain. I've not really heard much about this myself. I've also been out of town for the last few days, so I haven't caught up on today's announcements or anything like that. Thank you, Declan. Appreciate you. Cal says the TLC match on SmackDown was phenomenal, absolutely incredible. I can't believe it wasn't on Mania. A lot of people very annoyed by that. Declan says, I hope Becky Lynch wins another world title this year. And Proud Dad has sent a heart to donate on the TikTok side. Thank you very much, Proud Dad. Thank you very much for joining us as well. McCade says, do you have any news on Shotzi and Austin Theory? We'll be discussing that shortly. Erin says, hello, everyone. Hello, Erin. Declan says, hi, Tom. Carl says, how dare you do your job, Tom? How dare the journalist tell the truth and not lie for clicks? Yeah, it's funny how I accurately report on who's got things wrong, and then they come out of the woodwork and accuse me of things which did not happen. It's the willful misinterpretation. Also, having not read it, I really don't know what was actually said. So I'm just assuming that. I also don't even know who said what. So, let him bitch. Eric says, an angry Tom at the start, let's go. Not even angry, just good content. We like trolls here. They're a big help. They boost the chat rate. Hello, I'm good to see you, mate. Eric says, I read that. Dad says, big up, Tom. Hope you're well today. Doing very well. Thank you, Dad. Welcome to the show. Bailey says, chat rate always beats Twitter trolls. Yeah, and Twitter's full of them. Twitter's basically 90% troll at this point. Why would I listen to anyone or anything that's posted on Twitter? Valencia says, hi, Tom. Hope you're well. Apologies I don't always make it on. You absolutely do not need to apologise. Don't you worry about it. Always watch your videos afterwards, though. Then I have absolutely no concerns, Valencia. You're a channel member. You're watching. I'm thrilled to have you here. Don't you worry. We love a lurker. And basically, as long as you are here and as long as you are enjoying, I can only say thank you for your time. DJ says, I want to sell my soul to the final boss. You would not be alone in that. Everton says CM Punk can finally work a Crown Jewel pay-per-view. It's almost a sign. SNH says, is Goldberg going to attack Gunter at Backlash? I don't necessarily see it myself. And Andrew says, hi Tom, hope you're doing well, mate. Doing very well, thank you, Andrew. Welcome to the show. Apparently some comments have been filtered and we're getting some trolls on TikTok, which is new. We get TikTok trolls now. The world really is crazy. Eric, they're doing very well, or at least hopefully they are. As I say, I've been out of town a little bit, but they seem pretty happy from what I've seen of them so far. Marcel says, in Tom we trust for all wrestling news. I appreciate that. Ed says, have I missed something? Is the Bad Lieutenant franchise something big? We will be getting onto that, don't you worry. Pink says, Alexa Bliss news, and I'm already hoping it has something to do with the Wyatts. I've already shared it. Alexa Bliss is someone who is being spoken about to work directly with The Rock to build her wrestling and acting portfolio and make her a bigger name globally, which then, of course, helps the WWE. Oh, Declan gets it back in Australia. That's his home country. Irish says, my guy Tom, what's the news? Welcome, Irish Neep. Calvin says, so disappointed Austin Theory is about to be released. Who has told you that? Who's told you that? Give me your sources, guys. Give me your sources. Era Penta says, morning Tom, I never used to believe what you posted on X about Bray Wyatt. It was hard to hear. But since then I've followed all your work and you're the best out there. I appreciate that, Era of Penta. That is something that I'm aware of. I would post accurate news, and there was an element, I feel, of wishful thinking in a lot of different scope, as it were. A lot of people really, really eager to make sure that no matter what the reality was, what they believed was the only thing anyone believed. I tip my hat to a person like yourself who not only didn't believe it, but then chose to research it and found that by the end of researching it, they did believe it. Usually when we get a lot of people trolling on Twitter, my YouTube views go up. Clearly nobody paid attention because I got the same as I always get. Pink says, lads, I'm trying to watch The Pig. Where is it? Currently it's on my overlay, but it be coming. Cecil says, hi troll, while you're here, hit the like, type chat rate, and please always, whatever you do, watch The Pig by Troll. It did not last long at all, Cecil. 46 likes, by the way. 4 more gets us up to 50, a nice round number. We have quite a few people already on the TikTok. 6 people watching at the moment. We peaked last week at 20, which is a new high for TikTok when you consider how rarely I've done these shows so far. We're doing pretty well. We're continuing to grow, and we're already at more than 1,500 followers on TikTok, so good news there. Everton says a WWE draft is expected sometime this year via WrestleVotes Radio Backstage Pass. Almost like someone you may be aware of, has already reported that. Always good to see people confirming me. Chet says, hey Tom, any news on Lance Anoa'i or Hikuleo? Nothing at this point. Still some working out to be done. Declan misses Becky Lynch's world champion. Well, how about Midcard Championship? It's a-coming. I did report, by the way, Becky Lynch's return, Becky Lynch's heel turn, and Becky Lynch's Intercontinental Championship challenge for attacking Lyra Valkyria. So, just literally, this one seems to be a lot of me throwing out evidence. And a lot of it. Bailey says, what is the process by which a Drew or a Liv use their stage name versus their real names when it comes to movies? It depends on the individual. With a lot of WWE contracts, it gives WWE license to use your name, in which case chances are you can't then use it for things like the, Hollywood runs. Thank you, Ed, for your donation. I appreciate you for that. A popular vote, a big tick upwards. And thank you, Everton, for the Give Tom credit. So it does depend on the contract situation. John Cena, for example, can use his real name because what is his real name? John Cena. Whereas, for example, Bryan Danielson, when he left, had to become Bryan Danielson rather than Daniel Bryan because WWE owns Daniel Bryan for wrestling. Dad says, any news on who's next for Penta, Tom? That should become clear shortly. Cal says, the Drew situation has confused me, honestly. Like he was supposed to face Cody Rhodes and now he's in the US title vortex. Yeah. Weird that, isn't it? It's almost like he wasn't actually supposed to face Cody Rhodes. 18 people have hit like on Corey's donation. Thank you again, Corey. And thank you everyone who's hit liking it already. Cal says, Aleister Black being the Miz vortex is never good. Hopefully he's ending up feuding with the LWO anytime soon. You got to start somewhere. The Miz was available. It literally comes down to that. Autumn says, hello everyone, let's hope we get the wires tonight. Watch for the pig. Penta says, any truth about Goldberg twist SummerSlam with Gunter? You're going to need to give me a source here, Penta. We always source here. Cal says, does this mean we'll see CM Punk at Crown Jewel? No, it's not in Saudi Arabia. He's happy to work anything anywhere other than Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Noob. Good to see you, mate. Welcome, Ed. Always good to see you too. But boys, is any new update on Alexa, and did you expect her return tomorrow? As I say, they're currently ironing out the final parts of the Wyatt storyline. I did say she'd be working with the Wyatt Six, and funnily enough, here we are with that being confirmed elsewhere by people who also want to call me a liar. Always great fun. Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate you. Says send X1, the first gift I've ever sent. Express your appreciation. Well, thank you for letting me know, TikTok, that I need to do that, but I'm going to do it anyway. Andrew, thank you very kindly. I appreciate you. And thank you, Proud Dad, for sharing the live, by the way. Everton says, I see Bronson versus Jay for the World Heavyweight title at Crown Jewel. If they don't do champion versus champion, Bronson Reed would be very good shout. McKay says, when do you see the call-ups happening? They are already happening. Juan says, according to SRS The Enemy, he reported from sources in AEW and New Japan that Mercedes Money has no creative control. Thoughts, and does it confirm your report from last year too? Yes. I reported at the time, and I continued to report for months. 1, the Mercedes Money would be signing with AEW. 2, the Mercedes Money would have no creative control. And 3, the Mercedes Money would become the TBS champion. Again, I know I'm focusing a lot on evidence today, but I feel like I'm really sticking it to the trolls by telling them what they don't want to hear. I'm good at this. Thank you very much, Proud Dad, as well, for a popular vote. Lots of donations coming in on the TikTok side. I appreciate you for that, as well as a new member and a $10 donation on the YouTube side. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to support the channel so vehemently as you have. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Cal says, did you see Raw? There was a glitch which read Alexa behind Nick Aldis. There was a 4 on there. Joe Gacy posted on Twitter saying, 4, surely it's soon we see them. Yeah. As I say, they're ready. So that's all it is. They're ready. Hello, Sai. Good to see you, sir. Do you have a mic? Primarily, my concern with why other people are bad, as it were, is because I don't like being lied to, and I don't feel like you should like being lied to. That's the main thing for me. Especially when it's a case of, at times, having to defend myself from scrutiny. So that's the main thing. Now, the main focus when it comes to that is the Wrestling Receipt, which is a separate video. Happens once a month, which nobody needs to watch. So I do keep it separate. But every now and then, when people get a little bit uppity, they recognise that I'm doing really well and decide, well, we've got to take this down. I just get a little bit annoyed. But again, it's on Twitter, so I haven't read it. Because why would I go on Twitter? It's a hellscape. Why waste my time? Cal says a lot of people believe we'll see them in 3 weeks as it's Bray's birthday then. I mean, countdown makes the most sense. Declan says, I really like Becky to win the briefcase at Money in the Bank this year. Where was I? Bailey says, WWE gets its fair share of criticism for price gouging fans, but this Mercedes Money scheme announced today is insane. US $99 a month to send her personal texts. People will buy it. People will absolutely buy it. Just Ken says, look at the trolls getting creative. Dylan says, hi everyone. Welcome, Dylan. Actually, if that's the case, I'm down. Trolls feed the chat rate, so I ain't got no issue with them. Calvin says, no source, I just feel it. Well, unfortunately, I can't comment on the feelings that you're having. I mean, even if they're right, I really can't comment. King Azza, I've asked 3 people now for the source on this. What's the source, mate? Got it, Pete. Hey, Kelly says, hey, Tom, I'm here. How's your day been? Exhausting. It's been a day of travelling. I've been out of town. But other than that, pretty good. We're doing pretty well with the show so far, I'll tell you that. Jamie O'Farrell, it has been a little while. I've been very good, thank you, Jamie. Continuing the decoration effort with the new house and just trying to enjoy my day, really. So thank you for checking in and good to see you again. Dylan says, I know you probably don't have any idea, but who do you see being seen as last opponent? I do have a little bit of news on this, but it's not anything major. So Just a little bit there. Sean says, do you think WWE should have Liv and Raquel drop the tag belt since Liv is going to be gone? No. I reported, last week I think it was, that a number of wrestlers are taking some time off. Some very prominent wrestlers as well. You look at Roman Reigns, you look at CM Punk, who skips at least a week and he's starting a process there. You look at Gunter, who's taking some time off. Liv Morgan is going to be another one of them. The tag belts will fade into the background. That'll be fine though, because they've got more than one championship. In fact, they have 5 women's championships. They can afford to have one to vanish for a little while. Michael says, Jennifer Pepperman tweeted out, today I feel vindicated. Thought that was interesting with the news of Office releases in WWE. Yeah, it is. She has many references to play. I do have news on those releases, just to be clear. I do have news on that. So it'll be interesting once we get to that one. We have 59 likes on YouTube, by the way. One more gets us to 60. Let's hit that button. Paul says, Alicia Fox was on TNA last night. She was with Robert Stone and got a title shot at the next pay-per-view. Bismo says, any word on the roster WWE is working with in AAA in the coming months? It is the current roster. Right now, it's the current roster. We've already spoken about Alexa Bliss, but we have not spoken about the YS6 because we have no YS6 news beyond what I've already been reporting. You will not get any YS6 news more than you get it here. Nobody shares news on the YS6 more than we share on the Tom Colohue channel. So I'm very proud of my record there when it's been consistently proven right. One of the biggest and most successful nights of this channel was the night where a month before the return, I was able to report that Bray Wyatt signed a new deal with WWE. So when it comes to anything Wyatt, I've done pretty well over the years. Ooh. Eric says, what is this 100 people versus Gorilla? We don't need 100, we just need Temu Taker. I have no idea what you're talking about, Eric, to be completely honest with you. Zeno says, hi, Tom. Hello, Zeno. And plenty of people dropping chat rates as well. Appreciate you very much. Roy says, Alicia Fox is now going by the name Victoria Crawford in TNA. I hate that. I hate to get in a title match because Robert Stone said so. Some people really do bank on their name. Some people really do. Declan says, why would Becky say she attacked Bayley? Well, as I reported, that was the main focus. They are moving towards a Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Bayley, likely around SummerSlam time. Thank you, Raven Club 74, for following on TikTok. I appreciate you. We will likely be focusing on that going forward with PLE Wednesdays, where we will be talking about our very early SummerSlam predictions based on the news that we have already. So it's nice that she's confirmed my reporting. And also very, very nice that several days after I reported it, it started popping up elsewhere as well. So thank you to all of the wrestling media that's been confirming my reporting. Error of Penta says, with Y6 stuck behind John Cena, has any plans to work with him as a tribute to Bray? I'm not sure what tribute that would be. When it comes to the Bray Wyatt story, the John Cena feud, while early and key at times, isn't necessarily one that you would consider the favourite, at least in my mind. Proud Dad says, any word on how WWE plans to use AAA? Will they keep it intact or absorb it in the roster? For the moment, they will be keeping it as a separate entity, working independently and learning wrestlers out. Everton says, do you think we can see a tag match, Penta and Rey Fenix versus Chad Gable and El Grande Americano? That is indeed one of the plans, though it will potentially be with Rey Mysterio in their corner. Andrew says, what's your opinion on the two-night SummerSlam? Do we need it and does it take it away from WrestleMania? I wouldn't say it takes away from WrestleMania. I wouldn't say we need it. But I would also say it's part of a WWE business model that involves just having more of everything. So we don't need it, but we're going to be fed it regardless. Dylan says, is the reason that Crown Jewel is in Perth this year because Saudi gets the Rumble next year? Nothing has been confirmed just yet as regards Royal Rumble. Entertainment says, do you know if the Mercedes versus Athena feud is over, or is there more meat on the bone for it right now? Because I felt like it wasn't finished. Personally, I do think there's a revisit coming on that one. John says, WrestleVotes Radio Backstage Pass also said there are no plans to add anyone else to Seth's group with Braun and Paul Heyman. Right now, no. But they are still pitching names for the growth of the group, and Seth Rollins is eager to expand the faction. Coach Nick says, could Crown Jewel being in Australia be a sign that CM Punk is going to be a champion by then? No. Calvin says, any word on Aleister Black being involved with the Wyatt Six? At this point, no. Declan says, I feel very sorry for the Women's Royal Rumble next year at Saudi. Oh, yeah, that was a thing. Huh. Yeah. Everton says, is there a Backlash watch-along, Tom? Yes, indeed, there will be. Backlash in full, live on these channels. Well, for YouTube, TikTok tends to get more short-form content when that is happening. Ooh. Where am I? King Azza says, hi Tom, do you see Cody dethroning John Cena at SummerSlam or his last match? I don't. Sid says, when will we see Seth versus Sammy? That seems to be incoming. Juan says, Brandon Thurston did a breakdown of AEW's ratings and it showed the MJF and Hurt Syndicate draw the most. I'm intrigued. Do you see Cedric Alexander potentially being part of it? He certainly could be, but I would say that while that's a breakdown of what's going on at current, AEW continues to evolve, as does the viewership overall. But MJF has been a very reliable top name in AEW. Paul says, I was not happy seeing Alicia Fox show up in TNA. She's not a good wrestler. Calvin says, Aleister Black versus The Miz tonight. The Miz is available. The alternative is not having him there. Welcome, Resident Evil AMC. Good to see you. A little while. Bismo says, man, I miss Bray gone too soon. Sean says, do you see Mercedes beating Jamie to win the Owen Hart Cup? I hope not. I really hope not. You've got a chance to make really get over someone who's potentially a new star here. Jamie's right there. Declan says Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are starting a wrestling promotion. That'll be a blast from the past and one that I don't want to watch. Dylan says, I don't understand why out of everybody for Jay to face for his first defense it's Logan Paul. I understand people don't like him, so that makes it easier to hate him and boo him, but why Logan first? Because Logan Paul will be taking a lot of time off after it. Logan Paul is not full-time, and it shows. Danny says, was the glitch on Monday about the Wired 6? Yes. Yes, it was. We have 4,000 likes on TikTok, 10 people already there. Thank you very much for joining us. We also, on the YouTube side, have 64 likes, one away from 65, and 124 people watching. Please keep those thumbs ups coming as we keep going. Everton says Seth wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Sammy wins the Rumble in Saudi. Seth and Sammy Mania 42. Sammy finally wins World Heavyweight Championship. Forgetting about Jey Uso entirely then. Blast from the past would be horrible. Marcel says, with Royal Rumble in Saudi, I'm a little afraid there won't be any surprises. Everybody already knows who's there in Saudi then. Yeah, but not really. Juan says, Meltzer reported Josh Matthews is working with AEW on production. Good or terrible signing like the Flair one. It's not in front of camera, so couldn't be as bad as Flair, let's be fair. Next up, let's talk about what's going on with the idea of WrestleMania coming to London. Now, the WWE is said to be actively shopping around to see what the highest bidder would offer for WrestleMania. However, they are still in negotiations with the current presidential administration in order to work out the best ideas for big shows. Shows like WrestleMania are an American institution, and the current administration might not necessarily want them to leave American shores. It's one of the reasons we've seen many things quieten down recently as regards the continentalization approach that the WWE are going for. For example, there was talk of a show in Mexico that has still not been confirmed. So it looks like that might just not be a thing. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, is still committed and has announced a further commitment to bringing WrestleMania to London. His intention being essentially that would be a huge, huge earner for London and the wider area, even larger than All In, which when it went to London and Wembley was a huge, huge profit for London as a general area and the UK as a whole. More events like that, more events like WrestleMania would massively boost the overall economy here in the UK. So Sadiq Khan wants to make it happen. However, under the current government, he does not have the funding to secure it. When I say that the WWE are shopping around, they've essentially made it known that they will only take interesting offers from the highest of bidders. The highest of bidders. As such, Sadiq Khan has simply not been able to secure the funding, especially when the government here in the UK is not exactly spending right now. With this in mind, Sadiq Khan is exploring other offers, including AEW and NFL content, and is eager to have AEW return to London in the near future, potentially at Wembley if they are able to make that happen. Sadiq Khan has made some quiet commitments to AEW management that essentially if they can strike a good deal with him, they will have a nice discount for Wembley if they need it. It may mean moving away from August, but it does open up some doors. Everton says apart from England, DC, WrestleMania going abroad, there are other countries, including Saudi Arabia, that are making massive bids to get WrestleMania in their country. Declan, I can see how many chat rates you've dropped. You know what else I can see? A huge boost in the amount of people who've joined this show. Thank you. Ishi, as regards what people are saying on Twitter, could not care less. Could not care less. I sit here twice a week and report the news. I report double figures every week. Over the years I've been doing this, I've reported thousands of pieces of news. And here I am with thousands upon thousands of people watching my videos. Thousands upon thousands of subscribers. If I was really what I'm being accused of, nobody would be here. I could not care less about the willful misinterpretation of people who clearly don't watch. My advice to them, maybe watch a video so you know what you're talking about. Ollie McGrath, thank you very much for following on the TikTok side. I appreciate you for that. Everton says Saudi getting Mania and Rumble in the space of a few months would be crazy. Also says respect the hell out of you, Tom, the only goat I know. All hail King Colohue. Thank you very much, Everton. Appreciate you for that. So many chat rates. Thank you kindly. Sledgehammer says Logan Paul not on our screens for a while. Excellent. Sid says I don't know why we give Rock the benefit of the doubt. He's simply a self-centered. I would never even interact with anyone who talks like this in real life. And of course, he lied about the first. Maggie says, I agree about Sammy and Seth. Tom, you're on my wavelength. That wasn't me. That was Everton who said that. The other Mike says, what are your early predictions on the SummerSlam main events? I'm thinking Seth Roman for the World Heavyweight Championship and Punk Cena for the WWE Championship. Punk Cena has been mentioned. As regards the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm not looking at Seth Roman because that would mean that Jey Uso has already lost it. Paul, I'm intending to do so. Unfortunately, time-wise, I simply don't have a lot of it right now. Maggie says, no Logan Paul for a while. Hallelujah. There is a God. Dad says, do you see Samoa Joe beating Moxley on the 12th of May? Not sure. Not sure. Michael says, from what I've seen on Twitter, both Grand Slam Mexico and Forbidden Door in the UK sold out. If WWE are not going to go continental, AEW will certainly continue to benefit from it. It's been a massive profit centre for them over the last few years, and it is a genuine boost to the economy of the countries that they visit. The UK, and this is one of the main reasons that the UK is so desperate to ensure that once a year they get WWE content, the UK economy is boosted by WWE content because people in Europe fly over and spend money. Dylan says, Jay's the World Heavyweight Champion, so how can Seth be champion at SummerSlam? I mean, there is time. I just don't necessarily see it happening that way myself. Okay, I like what people are sneaking in there. I like it. One says, I always bring my headphones to work because I've made listening to Tom Colohue must see. I always want accurate information. Appreciate you. Ishi says, do you think we'll get another glitch tonight? Yeah. Eric says, what's your favourite soccer club? I don't watch soccer, I watch football. I have a local team that I have a season ticket for. Won't go into detail as to who. It's not difficult when you know where I live. But I tend to watch Liverpool. I just found them very entertaining. So I've been watching them since 2010 when Roy Hodgson was there and they weren't so entertaining. Alan says, what other YouTube channels do you recommend? So many fake news on other channels. I love your channel. Wrestling Days. I like Wrestling Days and his overall work. So I'd appreciate if people watched him. Marcel says, will Pat take time off after a match with Gunter? That would be a good way to do it. Bailey says, aside from the money, there would be no fans travelling to Saudi Arabia and there are only 2 stadiums larger than 30,000. Indeed, and that is why, as much as they are willing to take the money, they do have to think about getting as much ticket sales as possible. So profit over income. Calvin, there's always a chance. I find it unlikely. Dylan says, tell me if you think this is a good idea. Jay hangs onto the title until Mania 42. Sami, after turning heel, wins the Rumble, and Saudi challenges Jay for the belt at Mania and wins it there. Bit of news that you might enjoy. Very much on the wavelength. Sami Zayn announced that he was going for a World Championship this week. Do you know why he announced that? Because it's in his new contract negotiations. He was assured that he would be getting a World Championship during the length of this next contract. He's back. He's signed. He's staying. Maggie says, I'd love Samoa Joe to beat Mox. Then again, I'd pay him a postman to beat him at this point. Declan says, I'm a Tom guy. Appreciate you. And Paul says, do you see Sami joining Seth's group in the future? No. It was a passionate and vehement no thank you from Sami Zayn, which I very much agree with. PWInsider's paywall, their elite service, which you have to pay money to see, has reported on a call-up for Roxanne Perez and Julia. Now, couple of things I do need to point out. Firstly, as regards Roxanne Perez, she was called up a while ago. And in fact, she's been on the main roster since the Royal Rumble. Now, she did briefly return to NXT, but you can see she never really left the main roster. As regards Julia, she over the last few weeks has been appearing as Roxanne Perez's tag partner and essentially joined at the hip. In what way is this a report that deserves money? Also, of course, I reported it last week. So if you want free news, which will be reported behind paywalls days afterwards, check out Tom Colohue. So, I have been working recently with goals, and the idea is essentially letting people know that I have donations as an option. We have had, since I reached a certain level of followers on TikTok, a number of new options available to me, such as, for example, setting events, which I haven't been the most reliable at, but when I do set events, I tend to get a good turnout, and it's good for growth. It's a big help. Another thing is subscriptions. Now, I don't have the subscription set to anything at the moment, so I just set a goal to remind me, if nothing else, of one. So if anyone didn't know that I could do subscriptions, I just wanted people to know that there was an option if they wanted to. Ed, my mod, my friend, my ride or die at this point, let's be fair, mate, you've been here a long time, has just become the very first subscriber on the TikTok side. Now, I don't necessarily know what that means. It does mean potentially exclusive content, but it's exclusive short form content, so I'm not sure what that content would be. I got to be honest. I will make sure, Ed, your subscription is valuable to you as well. I promise you that. We can also, of course, take donations on the YouTube side. Thank you, Ed, for that. We have that ability. So I'm going to set a goal. I tend to, as always, set the smallest possible goal that I can. We have a spoiler warning. So it is a 1 super chat goal for £2 English. That is the smallest goal we can do. And that is literally just to remind people that if they would like to, you have the option of donating. We have 72 likes right now, 130 people here. If you would like to, please do donate. If you do not, that is also cool. Nobody will ever be required to spend money on these shows. You might be required, though, to press that like button. So be sure you do. Everton says it was interesting they mentioned too that Sami would get a shot at Cena if he went to SmackDown. Ed says, first channel member on YouTube, first sub on Twitch, first sub on TikTok. You are absolutely flying, sir. Proud Dad, also, thank you very much to you. Now that aware of the subscriber section, Proud Dad has subscribed as well. I will make sure that you get content of some sort that makes it valuable for you, Proud Dad. Thank you very kindly for subscribing on the TikTok side as well. It is one of the many ways I'm looking to diversify at the moment, ensuring that there are multiple potential streams of revenue and multiple methods by which I can thank you for your continued support. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Proud Dad. And thank you as well to everyone who has donated with gifts and the like. Everton says, if you had a choice, Tom, would you rather have SummerSlam or the Chamber in the UK? SummerSlam. It would be in summer. Everton says, who do you think Cena will face in France? Also, you're planning a Clash in Paris watch-along? I am absolutely planning a Clash in Paris watch-along. It'll be in a reasonable time, and I can not wait. As regards Cena in France, I'm not sure at this point in time. God's Bow says, everyone can be the Hardy, or even they think and other think they are better, but no one like Hardy for me. As in Tom Hardy? You like Tom Hardy? I respect it. Bailey says, good news for Sami Zayn. He deserves it. Dylan says, of course, the IWC are going to hate him winning a belt since they hated Jay beating Gunter. Juan says, Mariah May is doing the Mercedes money roll. She's basically trolling. She also, I too miss Mariah May on TV. Make a goal and immediately watch it get smashed. Thank you very kindly to 2 donators there. CMAC, appreciate you. A $5 donation says, good to see you, Tom. Be sure to hit like on that donation. There's already 10 of you who have done so. Thank you. And at almost the exact same time, Pete with a £2 donation hitting that goal directly, even though it had been smashed by CMAC. Well, with a double smashing, I've got to say. And he just says, which I respect. Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate you. So much generosity, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Sorry that you seem to be having a sync issue. So Pete is having an issue with the audio and the movement of my lips. Is anyone else experiencing the same? Particularly YouTube way, is anyone experiencing an issue with the audio versus the movement of my lips? Please let me know if you are. So it says, do you see Jey Uso's title run lasting long? I see it lasting an okay amount of time. An okay amount of time. Alan Byrne follows Wrestling Days. Good to know. Good to know. Calvin says, any word in the tweets by Chelsea, Shotzi and Theory? The tweets definitely seem to be suggestive, but I haven't seen the tweets. As I said, I've been travelling today. I've been out of town for a couple of days. As regards to releases, I do have some information to come, but that information is not regarding the releases of wrestlers. I did report a week or so ago that the WWE, particularly Nick Khan and his financial team, will put together a cost-benefit analysis list. That is essentially where companies put together a list of who they believe that if they need to cut costs, they would look at removing. This was not a kill list, as others have tried to accuse me of saying. This is a cost-benefit analysis list. We've spoken about them at length, and if you're a regular on this channel, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Ooh. Paul says, WWE abandoned the trademark for Edge in terms of wrestling performances. Yeah, at this point, WWE do not believe that there is any money in that trademark. Calvin says, what about a PLE in Miami, WrestleMania or SummerSlam? I mean, if The Rock's going to be there. Autumn, yes, I do believe we'll see a bit more Wyatts. Cool. A lot of people having good luck with the audio. A lot of people very happy. Thank you for confirming. Sledgehammer says audio is very slightly ahead of video, hardly noticeable. Thank you, Sledgehammer, for that. For everyone else, it's working. Sid might be having a bit of trouble. Okay. Pete, no one's accused you of being awkward, mate. I appreciate you giving me a heads up. No one said you're being awkward. You're helping the channel by letting me know if you're experiencing any problems. And thank you, Everton, as well. Liv Morgan. The WWE are thrilled that Liv Morgan auditioned for and successfully got a major role in the upcoming film Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. I was asked earlier if this is a big deal franchise. It's not. It's not. However, I believe the director is a relatively big name, and it is a market that will result in Liv Morgan getting a bit of attention. You see, it's not necessarily the film, it's more the role. She has a major role in the film and is expected to miss several weeks in the coming months in order to go out there and record it. So when it comes to what's going on with Liv Morgan at the moment, we will be seeing a little less of her. However, it will result in a bigger name Liv Morgan, bigger value Liv Morgan, and a Liv Morgan that we end up seeing a lot more of in the future. She's had an amazing year, amazing season, and she will be someone around which the WWE build in future. I did mention previously that WWE eager to get her back into top championship contention. Her day will come again. Ooh. Proud Dad to say, Tom, I'm glad to subscribe. Your content is reliable. You're a good person as well. Thank you, Proud Dad. You really do feel like a really proud dad to me. I appreciate you. Thank you. Ooh, KJ has clarified, saying they renewed the Edge trademark after losing it. Essentially just keeping it to themselves. Roy Farmer says, do you think Cody Deaner beats Eddie Edwards at TNA Under Siege and gets a new contract? I don't have information on that, unfortunately. As regards the world of TNA, that is not something I have much information on. Xavier says, have a good day, Tom. Welcome, Xavier. Have a good day you yourself. Appreciate you. Very much appreciate you. Next up. A John Cena Greatest Hits tour is planned as part of his final selection of matches. Several names have been mentioned that he will be expected to work with. They include long-term rivals such as CM Punk and Roman Reigns. He will have an active countdown to his final few dates, and there will be more with Cody Rhodes down the line. However, for now, as Cody Rhodes takes the break that I reported exclusively on, we are going to be seeing John Cena go through a wealth of opponents that he has wrestled previously. As regards his final opponent, and the one who is likely to take the championship from him, it may well be a Cody Rhodes return, but personally, I think in that moment, we may see John Cena choose someone new to give the championship to. Personally, if I was him, I'd be looking at Jacob Fatu. I just think there's a lot of fun that could be had there. Ed, thank you kindly for another donation. Ice cream cone. I do love how on TikTok all of the donations appear on screen. Always a lot of fun. Thank you kindly. Rob, thank you very much. Rob ITNY with a generous donation of $2. Thank you very kindly. Please remember to hit like on that. I'm going to hit a love heart. Thank you very much, Rob. Has asked any further chance of Killer Cross re-signing? Yes, there is. I've discussed this previously, but I'm happy to recap. Karrion Kross has asked for a name change with his next contract. While WWE are very happy with his work, in negotiations, he absolutely was being honest when he said that they're looking for viral moments. There was a concern with Karrion Kross that he wasn't able to create the viral moments that the WWE was looking for. They gave him an opportunity to do so, and he went viral. He has shown what he is worth to the company, and the WWE are invested. I suspect he'll receive a very strong offer for a mid-card level contract. He is pushing to get the name Killer Cross back. I think he might well get it. C-Max says, didn't The Rock help Austin and Cena get into Hollywood as well? Yes, he did. This is something The Rock enjoys and very much will continue doing. Marcel says, have you heard anything about other European countries for WWE PLE? There's talk about almost all of them at the moment. There's a lot ongoing. The whole tariff situation has changed things a little bit. Because it's just awkward. Because the WWE don't know what the situation is going to be, and they're not necessarily willing to commit too heavily until the situation is at least somewhat ratified. So we'll see how it plays out. Calvin says, is there a chance we could get Seth versus Sami at Backlash? There is. Bailey says, if Liv's arrest had taken place in Vince's era, she might have got demoted. Instead, her star has only grown. Yes and no. I think under Vince, there is a likelihood of that because she's female. That's all I'll say. Ken says, PWInsider also reported the belief is that Liv will only miss a month or less. Brilliant. So we've reported the same. Billy says, pardon the tardiness, just here to say hello before I go back to see what I missed. Welcome, Billy. Good to see you, mate, and hello to you. KJ says, will Cena's matches be better than the Cody one, or is he just washed? I wouldn't say he's washed. I'd say he's not where he was, and he's currently working with a overall storyline that involves him ruining wrestling. He's doing a very good job of that so far. Marcel is hoping for a PLE in Amsterdam one day. You mentioned it before, mate, and I hope you get your wish. Everton says, yes, Tom, my Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, new undisputed champion. Everton says, I'd love to see a CM Punk Penta feud down the line, or CM Punk Randy Orton. I have one piece of news left, and this is as regards the releases. I've mentioned already about the cost benefit analysis list. And I have more to add to this. We ended up not getting many trolls. We got one troll, and I think that's a shame. We could have really grown because of the good old chat rate. But you know what? We're still doing fantastic. We're still getting a very high number of people watching, and we're still getting some very generous donations. So thank you to everyone who's watched. Here's the bad news. The WWE are currently introducing AI as a method of cost cutting in their back offices in areas such as creative, script writing, and graphic design. That means some of the scripts and bullet points that wrestlers will be handed in the next few months will be written by AI, or at least originally drafted by AI. Welcome, Conrad. Good to see you, mate. That AI will be used in, as I mentioned, creative, script writing, and graphic design. This has resulted in multiple layoffs, particularly in the creative team, in the copywriting areas, so people writing scripts of the promos that people are putting out there, and also they're using AI for some of the video editing process to essentially clip what they consider to be the top moments and overtake from some of what we have seen for decades is the best video editing team in the goddamn world. So when I talk about the cost-benefit analysis, the WWE believes AI can replace the jobs of multiple back-office staff. This is one of the reasons you have not as yet heard much about wrestlers being released. There are also several wrestlers who have been encouraged to use AI to write tweets for them. The AI revolution has reached the WWE, and it will not go quiet quickly. So, just to clarify everything I've been reporting, Nick Khan's financial team over the last few weeks, as I've already reported, put together a cost-benefit analysis list. A number of wrestlers were on that list. A number of back office staff were on that list. The WWE considered that list, decided on a number of people that they could effectively replace with AI. And we have seen those layoffs reported in the days that have now come. So, that's the news. I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people. I can't blame you. I'm disappointed myself. However, at this point, I'm heading off to get myself to bed after an exhausting day. I will see all of you on Monday. Until then, I'm going to do my usual, say that I've been Tom Colohue, you've been fantastic, I'll see you all very soon.